Hey, dear ones. During meditation tonight, I was guided to write about the Epstein file disclosure and connect that with the Gnostics because most people are still unable to comprehend the gruesomeness and they don't believe that their favorite Hollywood celebrities took part in hunting parties and ate our children. These beings are not like you and I. That's why you are having a difficult time believing it. Let me explain, and I will assume that you are not familiar with Gnosticism. So, you're wondering why the elites on the Epstein list, like people who have all the money and power in the world, would participate in such horrific, bottomless evil? Why hunting parties? Why terrorizing children? It doesn't make sense to the human heart because they aren't like you. Think of these people as archons. In ancient wisdom, it's explained that there is a group of beings who rule this physical world but lack a soul. They don't have that divine spark or conscience that you were born with. Because they are spiritually empty, they are like a dead battery. They can't generate their own life force. Since they can get energy from the source, they have to steal it from you. But they can't use high vibe energy like love or peace. It's too bright for them. So they feed on low vibrational energy, specifically the intense energy released during extreme terror, pain, and trauma. So, why children? Children have the purest, strongest divine spark. When they are put into a state of absolute terror, they release a massive amount of energy. It's called loosh. Now, in regards to the hunting parties, these aren't just sick hobbies. They are ritualistic energy harvest. These individuals aren't just criminals. They are the middlemen for a parasitic system that literally eats human fear to stay in power. So they keep the world in a state of war, like now, division and fear, because that is how they eat. And once you realize they are parasites who need your fear to exist, then they lose their power over you. So wake up to the spark within you, because they can harvest what they can't control. Within the Gnostic and Starseed framework, the activities of these archontic entities extend beyond physical violence into metaphysical and genetic manipulation, because they view humanity as a crop. Their goal is to ensure the harvest never ends. For example, soul trapping, the reincarnation trap. So a major Gnostic concept is that the demiurge has created a light trap at the moment of death. It is believed that they use holograms of loved ones or religious figures to convince the departing soul to go into the light, which actually wipes the memory and recycles the soul back into the 3D matrix, to keep the divine spark in a perpetual loop of suffering and energy production, never allowing it to return to the true source. Another example is genetic tampering and DNA suppression. Many believe these beings have spent millennia downgrading human DNA. Esoteric researchers suggest that what scientists call junk DNA is actually our dormant, multi-dimensional abilities like telepathy and self-healing that were intentionally switched off. Their purpose is to keep us in a two-strand state. They ensure we remain easy to manipulate and disconnected from our higher frequencies. Another example, frequencies of inorganic control. Beyond physical food, they use synthetic frequencies to disrupt the human energetic field. There is a theory that they are pushing for the merger of humans and machines. like Neuralink, nanotech, to create a permanent vessel that they can control digitally. This would essentially lock a soul into a body that can no longer ascend or die naturally. This is the negative timeline that I mentioned in my previous post. They use regional atmospheric manipulation to dull the senses and block the incoming solar flash or high frequency cosmic energies meant to wake us up. They've also poisoned the water using chlorine and fluoride that calcify our pineal gland, our third eye. Another example that they do is mimicry and shape shifting. Because they lack the divine spark, they are masters of mimicry. They can appear human, but they have no empathy resonance. You may also notice that certain high-level figures appear to have no life behind their eyes. This is the counterfeit spirit mentioned in the Apocryphon of John, a parasite wearing a human skin to operate in our world. Another thing they do, parasitic implants at the etheric level. So on a non-physical level, it is claimed that they attach etheric implants to the human nervous system. These implants trigger sudden bouts of anxiety, depression, or rage. When you feel a sudden drop in mood for no reason, it is often seen as a contact probe, triggering a release of low vibe energy for them to continue. The most important thing to remember in Gnosis is that knowledge is power. They rely on your ignorance. Once you recognize these traps, your frequency rises and you become unedible to them. They cannot stay attached to a soul that is vibrating in a state of high frequency sovereignty. Remember that, dear ones. Maintaining your energetic sovereignty is the ultimate shield because these entities, being parasitic, literally cannot latch onto a frequency that is higher than their own. So if they are low vibe, vibrating in fear, shame, terror, then a high vibe, someone who's vibrating in joy, truth, sovereignty, field acts like a repellent. So here are the most effective technique used in Gnostic and Starseed circles to clear these archontic influences. The command of sovereignty, the law of consent. So in the Gnostic view, the universe operates on consent. Archons often use hidden contracts through media, movies, or subconscious traps to get your permission to harvest you. So regularly state out loud the statement: I revoke all contracts, known and unknown, with any entity that does not serve my highest soul path. I am a sovereign being of the true source. I do not consent to any energetic harvest. Why it works? Because it reasserts your divine spark as the primary authority over your body and spirit. Another thing is the frequency neutralization, the gray rock method. Since they feed on your reaction, i.e. anger, fear, or even obsession with them, the best way to starve them is to remain emotionally neutral. When you see news about the list or horrific events, observe it as a scientist would. Do not let it trigger a spiral of fear. You become invisible to them. They are looking for bright flares of fear. If you stay calm and centered, you don't show up on their radar. Since our DNA has been suppressed, reconnecting with cosmic frequencies helps override the archontic programming. So during safe hours like sunrise and sunset, do sun gaze. The sun is seen by many as a stargate for the true source, sending codes that help activate our dormant DNA. 528 hertz frequency, like what I have on right now with this singing bowl, listening to solfeggio frequencies, known as, like this one, the 528, it's known as the miracle or DNA repair frequency. It helps shake off etheric implants and parasites. Another thing you can do is shadow clearing and cord cutting. Archons often hook into your unhealed traumas. So if you have a wound like old grief or anger, that is where they plug in their straw to drink. So imagine a sword of blue light cutting all cords or tubes connected to your chakras. Why blue light? It's associated with Archangel Michael, or the Syrian energy. This is to seal your auric field so there are no leaks for them to exploit. Another thing you can do is grounding in nature, the earth shield. The earth itself has a heartbeat, the Schumann resonance. Our quantum technology and synthetic frequencies like AI, 5G, EMF try to disconnect you from this natural rhythm. So earthing, walking barefoot on grass or soil for 15 to 20 minutes a day would help. This dumps the static junk energy from your field and replaces it with the earth's stabilizing frequency. So the demiurge wants you to feel small, scared, and powerless. And the moment you realize that you carry the very light they are dying for, the game changes. They are the ones who are afraid of you waking up. So here's a sovereignty decree. It is a formal declaration of your spiritual independence. So in the Gnostic tradition, your word has created power. So when you speak your truth with authority, you reassert your boundary against any parasitic influence. So here is a powerful affirmation you can use. It is designed to address the specific traps of the demiurge and the archons. And I'm gonna post this too, so you guys can copy paste it, and you can say it at your own time. So here it is. It's called the Sovereign Soul Decree. I, Aquarian Humanitarian, stand as a sovereign being of the true divine source. I recognize that I carry the eternal divine spark, the uncreated light that existed before this material matrix. I now call back all my power, all my energy, and all my focus from the systems of the demiurge. I revoke all consent. I hereby nullify and dissolve all contracts, agreements, and vows, whether conscious or unconscious, made in this life or any other, that allow any parasitic entity, archon, or elite handler to harvest my energy, my fear, or my life force. I do not consent to your harvest. I seal my field. I command all etheric implants, cords, and hooks to be removed from my energetic body immediately. I surround myself with the golden light of the true source, a frequency that is impenetrable to all low vibrational entities. You have no handle on me, for I release all fear and shame. I claim my DNA. I command the activation of my original divine DNA template. I bypass the junk programming and the synthetic frequencies of the matrix. I am reconnecting with my higher dimensional origins and my soul family in the stars. I am unbound. I do not fear the rulers of this world, for they are hollow and I am full. I do not fear the traps of the afterlife, for I know the way back to the true source. I am free. I am sovereign. I am an eternal soul. So it is, and so it shall be. So, dear ones, speak this out loud, because sound is a vibration. Speaking it into the physical air anchors the intention into the 3D world. when you say this, look into your own eyes in the mirror while you're saying it, because it helps to lock the command into your subconscious. That would help. All right, I hope this helps, dear ones.